We hope you have had a good week. So this week we're starting a new series looking at parables, so that's stories that Jesus told. And parables are really interesting because they always had a meaning, didn't they? And Jesus would really think through who he was talking to in the crowd to make sure that they could understand it. So parables were Jesus' way of explaining something, a bit like a moral or a story to someone, but he would use it in a way and in a term that they could understand. So Karen, what is this week's parable?
Well, this one is called the parable of the talents. So we'll find out what that's all about.
Today's Bible story is from the book of Matthew, and it is called the Parable of the Talents. So there was a man, he had a lot of land, he was very rich, and he had lots of servants. And as he was going away, he decided to entrust some of his property to 3 of his servants. So to the first servant, he called him over and he said, I'm going on a long journey. I need you to look after some of my property. I am going to give you 5 talents.
Oh, thank you. Ooh.
He did the same with the second servant, although this time he didn't give him quite as much, but he called over his second servant, saying again, I'm going on a long journey and I'm entrusting you with 2 talents.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I have to think of what I can do with this.
And then finally, he decided of his third servant he would entrust with 1 talent. So again, he called him over and he said, I'm going away on a journey and I'm entrusting you with 1 talent.
1 talent. Oh, I'm a bit frightened of him. So I think I'm going to bury this in the ground so I don't lose it. I'm just going to dig a hole, put it in the ground. There, it's nice and safe.
So the master went on his journey, and after quite a long time, he came back. And he wanted to know what the servants had done with the talents that he had given them all those months ago. So he called them over one at a time. He called over the first servants and he said, what have you done with the talents I gave you?
You gave me 5 and I've given you 10 back. I started a business and I invested lots of the money in it, and we did lots of work, and I've doubled your money.
Wow, as you can gather, the master was very, very happy with the first servant, and he said, good and faithful servant, I have trusted you with something small, and you have shown you can be trusted, so I am now going to trust you with much, much more. Come and share in my happiness.
That's good, I'm happy.
And then he decided he'd get the second servant over. So he called him over and he said, what did you do with the 2 talents that I gave you?
Well, I worked with some friends and we did some bits and jobs and bits and pieces, and we've doubled our money. So there's 4 talents for you.
Wow, as you can gather, the master was just as happy with the second servant as he was with the first servant. And he said, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will now put you in charge of many, many things. Come and share in your master's happiness. Then the master was feeling really good. His first 2 servants had done a brilliant job. Let's see what the third servant has done. So he brought over his third servant. What did you do with the 1 talent I gave you?
Well, I've got it here, but it's a bit muddy because I buried it in the ground, because I know you're hard, and if I'd have lost it, you'd have been very angry with me. So there you go, there's the 1 talent.
Wow, the master wasn't very happy with this servant. And he said, you lazy servant, at the very least you could have put my money in a bank and got some interest. What? So he took the talent from him and he gave it to one of the other servants who had made more talents. And he said, for everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him.
Well, in that story, they were investing their talents, and I think talents then was like money. But when we think of talents, we think of the things we're good at. I'm talented at sewing, and I'm sure there's lots of things you're talented in. And if we do those things lots, we get better and better. And I think that's what the story was sort of saying. If you've got something you're good at, keep on doing it. Keep helping people with that talent. And if you stop doing it, like if you perhaps you're an artist, perhaps you're good at drawing, and perhaps when you're younger, when you're little, you used to love drawing, but as you get older, you might not want to do it so much. And then if you try and do it, I know I love drawing and that, but now I try to do it because I haven't done it for such a long time. I can't do it so well. It's not as good as I used to be at it. Or perhaps it's something like swimming. You know, I love going swimming when I was younger, and then I didn't go for such a long time, and it was really hard to practice to get it to do it better. So I think when it says at the end, those that have got something will get more, and those that haven't got much will get less, it's the fact that we need to keep doing things, and then we remember how to do them. And that is really good, and God will bless us when we keep doing things to help people and go moving on and doing more and more good things.
So let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the gifts and your talents that you give us. Help us to use them to glorify you, to help others, and to make our world a better place. Amen.
So I hope you have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we'll be talking about another parable. Don't know which one. Bye.